everyone. So today we're going to be going over how to create a digital signature in your new PDF documents. Okay, so there's a couple ways that you can start. You can scroll down to the lower right hand side and you can click on More Tools, or you can access the tools on the upper left side once you're in a document. Okay, once you click on Tools, you can click on Certificates. And then you get the option to create your own digital signature. So I'm going to click on digital signature, and it comes up with a pop-up, and it says, using your mouse, click and drag to draw the area where you would like the signature to appear. Once you finish dragging out the desired area, you will be taken to the next step of the signing process. So it's really important, this next step, to not check this, the do not show this message again until you're really confident in this process, so that it always gives you this nice little reminder. Click OK. So as you can see, my mouse has now turned into crosshairs. This is going to allow me to create my signature box. Okay. So I'm going, and it's okay if you go outside the lines of the box that's already available. That's absolutely fine. So I'm going to create a box, and once you've created your box, just let go. Okay? And now I have a new pop-up that says, this signature field requires a digital signature identity. Would you like to configure one now? I absolutely do. So I'm going to click on Configure Digital ID. So now it comes up with a series of questions. So configure a digital ID for signing. So I'm going to want to create a new one, and that's the default. So I'm going to click on Continue. So this next step is very important because it's not the default. You're going to want to go up here to Save to File, okay, and hit Continue. So here is where you're going to create a self-assigned digital ID, with your name, your organization, all of those different things. So I'm going to put in mine right here. Okay, and I am a MERT-C, and I have a whole bunch of different credentials, but this is just for the training. So I'm going to put my credentials in here with my full name. That's important. Next is the organization name. Okay, and then I'm going to put in my email address. All right. Now after that, after the email address, you don't need to put anything additional. You just need to hit Continue. So now it's prompting me to create my own digital password. All right. And make sure it goes in both spots correctly. And see, and now I say that, and I have to put it in again. All right, and then click Save. So now it's showing me, okay, sign with a digital ID that you just created, or would you like to configure a new digital ID? So if you create one for yourself, you can immediately create another one for a client or a parent to use to sign. So configure new, and it brings you right back to the other steps that we were at. Create a new digital ID, continue. We want to save to file, never save to Windows Certificate Store. Hit continue. So this is going to be as if it were a client. You don't need to put organizational unit or name. That's absolutely fine. So what if your client doesn't have an email address? That's absolutely fine. You can put in no email at gmail.com. And we have tested this out, and we've used this on several separate signatures of test clients, and it doesn't, Adobe doesn't kick it back and saying this is already in use. So don't worry about that. And then click on Continue, and then make sure that the client has their own separate password. Okay, so now we have both the signatures in here. So I'm going to click on the one that you'd like to use and then click on continue. So now this gives you a sneak peek at what your digital signature will look like. Okay, so one of the most important things, do not click on lock document after signing, because this allows you to update any text or to fix grammatical errors without harming your signature, which is really important. So I'm going to put my password in here and then click sign. And so this next step is very important because it immediately comes up with an option to save your document, and it'll save it in the same folder where you started your journey with your current document. So this can be your working copy without signatures, and if you'd like to add, you can just put the word sign, for signature, and so that you always have a working copy and that you always have a signature copy. Just make, this is a tutorial, so just make sure that you're actually putting it in and saving it the correct way. If you had a comprehensive assessment, so you'd be putting in the date, that it was done, and you'd be saying, okay, so this is CIS, comp assessment, and you would put the first initial and last name of the person. And if you want to, you can even just put sign on there to show that it's a signed document. However you want to put that. You don't have to put sign. You could just, keep your working copy as comprehensive assessment and the date, and then make your saved copy a little bit more fancy. So once you're done with that, you can click on save. And here you can see that your digital signature saves straight to the document. And even though it's not in cursive or anything, or it doesn't actually look like a signature, this is a digital signature. It's actually just a lot easier to read. You can see the person's credentials, and it's time and date stamped, which is wonderful. So even though this is a comprehensive assessment, I just want to show you guys what it looks like when you add an additional signature. So I saved my signature right here, and we're going to add another one. Okay, I'm just going to click OK, and I'm going to create another signature. And so now it saves your signatures, and it's giving you the option, do you want to use Emily again, or do you want to use Jane? And so you can do that. Just make sure you click on the one that you want. And if you notice that the signature that you need to use hasn't been saved, you can always configure a new one. And then you click OK or continue. And so here it's showing Jane's signature. I'm going to have to put in the password. Okay, sign. And so it's asking me to save again. So you don't want to have multiple versions with only a few signatures on them. You want to have the complete picture with all of the appropriate signatures. So what do you do at this point? You just hit save, and it's going to say, okay, one of these already exists. Do you want to replace it? Well, yes, I want you to replace it, because I don't want to create another one, because it would, my signatures, I'd have one with one signature, one with two signatures. You don't need to do that. You're just saving over, you're just saving again with the additional signature. Okay, so you just hit yes. And there you go. So now I have both of my signatures on here, and the beauty of it, because I didn't hit, to lock the document, if I need to go back in here and update, something, I can absolutely do that. Okay, so it's a really wonderful tool. It helps us to be as accurate as possible with time and date stamps, but also making sure that if we forget something, we can add it. Um, so if you have any questions, make sure that you reach out. This is a new process. This is a different type of signature that we're trying out to give people options. So reach out to your EMR coordinator or your program coordinator or your supervisor if you have questions. Okay, thanks so much and stay tuned.